No, sometimes the game just comes down to very simple things. And I just told the players, or reminded the players, of the two things I really don't like. When we're on offense, I don't like turnovers, and when we're on defense, I don't like fouls. So the game really comes down to those two categories. We got fouled enough times. We went 26 for 30 from the foul line. And we didn't foul them. They went 7 for 11. So I think that's a major part of the game. Turnovers, we had 18, they had 18. So it was even. 18 is really too much for us. A lot of times we're not forcing that many turnovers, so we got to keep that down. But it's a terrific win. I think Central Florida is going to have a heck of a year. They got a lot of speed and quickness and scoring ability. Darius Johnson's a terrific point guard, and Sellers is a hell of a player, and they got those big guys that are huge. But our guys did a good job from start to finish, I thought.
Coach, just talk a little about Bensley's efforts on the defensive side of the ball. 5 steals, 4 blocks for you guys tonight.
You know, I've just asked Bensley to do what you see guys in the NBA. Like we had a young man at Georgia Tech in the ACC named Jose Alvarado. And what he did defensively for Georgia Tech, he's now doing for the New Orleans Pelicans, and made him an NBA player. There's guys, what's his name? Beverly.
Harlan.
Patrick.
He's a Wichita State. Harlan.
No, not Harlan. Patrick Beverly. Again, an NBA guy who's made his living because he's really made himself a hell of a defender. Bensley has been that way since his freshman year. We're trying to get Christian Watson to do that. If you notice, Christian guarded Darius Johnson for some time. Right? The better he can get, the better that will make our team.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about the Final Four banner rising and how much that meant to you and the team?
Yeah, what I said before, and I don't know if the audience could hear, the fans, but you know, it was a magical season, and it took a total team effort. But when you look, it's not just our basketball team, it's the university's commitment. So the University of Miami, it's administration, it's faculty. You look at, like, the faculty runs the pep band, Jay Reese runs the pep band, and the cheerleaders. So it takes all that. And our athletic department, you know, Dan Radakovich and the things he's done already to help us improve as a basketball program. And then, of course, the players and coaches. Right? The players have to win the game. The coaches can't make shots for them or defend or rebound. But the coaches have to prepare them. And my coaching staff did a great job of that. And then lastly, you can't win without tremendous support from your fans. And you saw it was a great crowd tonight. The student turnout was sensational. We got to keep that up. And if we do, it gives us that home court advantage, which they call the sixth man. And if the students keep coming back, then we will really benefit from their enthusiasm.
Jim, they cut it to 6 points. There are 6 minutes left. What kind of led you guys to kind of pull away? What do you think changed for you guys?
Well, the whole key, they forced some turnovers, and that gave them an opportunity to score before we could defend them. When we didn't turn the ball over, we were able to get to the foul line, because they were reaching in trying to steal, and we got to the foul line and we made our free throws.
Coach, as a whole, I think your team forced, I think 18 turnovers, had 14 steals. Just what do you think of your team's defense as a whole tonight?
Yeah, I thought it was terrific. It starts with Bensley Joseph, but Wooga Poplar did a very, very good job. Norshad, how many rebounds did he have? You know, part of defense is getting the rebound when we miss, when they miss. So if you look at, we were able to, I thought we out-rebounded them, but we didn't. They out-rebounded us 38-34, so we'll have to work on our blocking out tomorrow.
Jim, what do you think of Wooga's performance, the 23 points, just the 8 shots?
I told you, he's an incredible three-point shooter, incredible pull-up jump shooter. He can make his free throws. He's great going to the basket. As long as he stays in control of his own abilities, he's going to have a sensational year.
And what do you think of the bench tonight as a whole? The guy, I know you touched on Christian a little bit.
Yeah, we we need everybody on our bench to just step it up a little bit more so I can count on them a little bit more. Norshad picks up an early foul. We needed Michael Nowako to give us some quality minutes. Matt Cleveland is playing his tail off and gets a little fatigued. We need AJ Casey to really give us quality minutes. I even thought about playing Norshad, AJ, and Matt Cleveland together because they kept backing us in and being very physical and around the basket. And but I never went to that because those three guards, they're really hard to take out. Bensley, Nigel, and Wooga is so good at scoring the ball. What else? What would you ask, Chris?
That's what I think you answered it.
I did.
Coach, when UCF went to their full court pressure in the second half, just how do you think Nigel and Bensley and the rest of your guards kind of handled that sort of?
Well, initially we got into a rush, and when you hurry, you're going to make mistakes. But we settled down and did a better job, and again got fouled when they were pressing us.
The 17 offensive rebounds you give up, that's not a number that you'd like. Would you see?
They're a hell of an offensive rebounding team. They're big. Those three big guys, Payne and Silla and Diallo, gigantic. And then you have an athlete like Sellers who goes hard to the glass. And they live in the paint. I don't know if we outscored them in the paint. Oh, let me see. They outscored us 46-30 because they live in there. When someone gets into the paint, someone has to help. And when they help, and that means someone is free to go to the offensive glass. And they did very effectively.
Coach, I'm wondering, just as a whole, the first two games you're averaging about mid-90s points, and obviously you want more sample sizes, but were you expecting the offense to flow this seamlessly this early on?
Well, if you were observing our practices, our major concern is we couldn't defend because the first team was scoring in the 90s and the second unit was scoring in the 80s. So we've had great success in scoring the ball in practice. Now we're seeing we're able to do it also in games.
Just your thought, quick turnaround. Obviously, you've seen FIU already.
Yeah, it's a local rivalry. They're a neighbor of ours. We've played them in several times since I've been here, and they press and do a lot of stuff that we saw tonight. So we'll have to be ready for that.
Bensley, 5 steals, 4 blocks for you tonight. Just talk about your defensive performance and the team defensive performance tonight.
Just locked in on the defensive end, and I know that's one of my biggest strengths. So I just wanted to use it out there. And, credit to UCF. It was a good team, but I felt like we scouted them really well, and we kind of knew what they were gonna, do on the offensive end. And my teammates, credit to them too, helping me on the defensive side. I couldn't do it alone without them. So just proud to get this one.
Bensley, what was the approach first half? You guys came out really, the steals, obviously transition. What was the approach there in that first half to build a big lead?
The approach was just to create a lot of havoc on the defensive end, and we knew our defense coming in was gonna kind of change the game for us. So we just wanted to focus on that and create turnovers on their side, and we were able to do that, force turnovers and get on the open floor. And I think that's where we thrive really well at. So credit to the team.
We'll go. Last game we kind of talked about last time you played UCF against Dillon, they beat you. You come back tonight, 23 points, 5 from the 3-point line. Talk about your performance and your 3-point shots tonight.
Yeah, I give credit to my teammates for just passing me the ball for real. And I feel like last year when they beat us 2 years ago when they beat us at home, that was my motivation coming into the game.
I guess a question for either of you. You're on that magical Final Four squad that got so much of the love and attention. I'm wondering what it meant for you to see that Final Four banner rise to the Raptors today.
It meant everything. It was really special, but I feel like we still got way more work to do. We obviously aren't satisfied with just Final Four. We want to, get over the hump and get to the next step. So just continuing to grind, every single day and push each other every day. And, have a 1-0 mentality and try to get, to the national championship.
Ben, when UCF went to their full court pressure look in the second half, just how do you think that you and the rest of the guards handled that extra aggression, extra pressure?
I thought we handled it pretty well. I felt like me personally, I was a little rushed at the beginning, but I was able to calm down. My teammates, were able to talk to me and, just tell me to have poise down the stretch, and that's what I was able to do. And I felt like once that happened, it was easy for us to attack their full court pressure, and, we were able to hit some key shots down the stretch and free throws. So credit to the team.
Wooga, what's the learning experience playing a conference, Power 5 conference team at UCF early on?
Oh, that's your question.
What's the, the reaction, the experience learned from playing?
I learned that there's some tough teams in the Big 12. That's what they're in, right? Yeah, some tough teams in there. And yeah, I feel like they foul a lot, but I give them good credit because they're just playing a little defense. But yeah, so far they did so good.
And then we'll go, defensively as a whole, y'all produced, I think, 14 steals tonight. Just kind of take me through, your team's defensive performance tonight.
But yeah, I feel like that's what we preach though, our defense. And we really try to work harder and harder on our defense because we don't got a lot of size, so we got to do something to get us going. And I feel like us, by getting steals and stuff, running the break, that's what's going to get us going.
When UCF cut the lead to, I think it was like 6 with 6 minutes left, what was said in the huddle in that timeout to really kind of get you guys going to finish this game out?
I say poise down the stretch. That's something our coach always tell us, BC, shout out to BC. He always tell us just poise down the stretch, so there was no pressure. We knew that it's a game of runs, so we just had to poise down the stretch.
Benz, for you, Coach, y'all kind of compared you to a Jose Alvarado, Patrick Beverly type of player with your defensive efforts and your ability to shoot the ball. Just what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, that's what he wants me to do, so just go out there and try to do it as best as I can. Credit to my teammates, they instill so much confidence in me, on the offensive end and on the defensive end. So I just try to reward them back on the defensive end and just play as hard as I can. And, we're able to do that and get a victory tonight.
One more?
Yeah, Bensley, you guys scored a lot of points. You shot 51% as a team, but the 18 turnovers, just kind of how do you gauge that and maybe what led to the high turnover mark?
Just a few mental mistakes as a team that, we were just, I felt like we were getting a little rushed, but we were able to correct it, really quickly. And, that's when they went on their run, we stopped that, and we had the poise down the stretch, able to turn it around and kind of figure it out. And we were able to do that and just keep pushing and plugging away. And that's what, led us to this victory.
I'll just start off by saying, I was really impressed with Miami and the way they played together. I thought they did a great job. You can see the experience they have returning from last year's Final Four team, a number of players that really made some big contributions. Just the experiences that they've had, I think has been very helpful for them. And I think they're a good team, and I think they're going to have a great season.
Coach, what was the mindset second half, pressuring, especially getting you back in the game there?
Well, that's what we like to do is get after it, pressure, and play that way. And I thought first half we really didn't find that gear. I thought in the second half we did, and that gave us a chance to make some runs, but you give them credit. They were able to withstand the runs that we made, and we have to grow from this experience.
The frustrations, they went to the foul line a lot second half, and having to constantly have to come back from that.
Well, absolutely. We fouled early in the second half, and we put them in the bonus kind of quick, and in doing so, that allowed them to shoot a lot more free throws down the stretch of the second half. We have to do a better job of being disciplined with our defense, even though we're playing in the full court. We do a better job of doing that without fouling.
So far, what have you liked about your team these first 2 games?
Well, I like a fight. I mean, I thought the score won't indicate it, but I could tell, like you said, about the second half. We came out, we fought, and this is a very good basketball team with a lot of experience. We have 10 new guys. And so with 10 new guys, we have a lot of work to do as far as our chemistry and continuity, and that'll come. But you can only learn that when you come into an environment like this, and this environment kind of shows some things we got to get better at, and we will.
Coach, what are some of the things that really stood out to you about this Miami team tonight?
Well, just their poise and their experience of their guard play. I thought their guards were really solid. Poplar was terrific, shooting the basketball. I've watched him improve. Coach Larranaga has been great. We played this kind of a series now. We almost play each other almost every year recently, and I think it's great for both programs. And so I've watched him kind of grow as a player. So from when he came in to where he is now, I can see the improvement in him. You know, I see the improvement in Joseph. You know, I see the improvement in their players, and that's something that's impressed me to watching their growth. Of course, Amir's a man down in the low post. I mean, there aren't that many guys that can attend with him. Just his physicality, his ability to finish around the basket and make plays. Terrific player. So, was very impressed with that. I was impressed with their defense. You know, I thought they did a good job. They were in stances. They were moving well as one defensively. Seen it when we were scouting them, and it held true to form when we played them. They were doing a good job defensively, being where they were supposed to be. I heard guys out there talking on the court, all the things that coaches look for. You know, I was seeing it, from their guys tonight.
Johnny, just what's kind of different with this Miami team to last year? I know they're only 2 games in, but just kind of seeing them, and you touched on it a little bit here.
Well, I think from last year to this year, I think they lost Wong, which is a terrific player as well. But there are some guys who seem to be stepping up in those roles, like Poplar, taking on more, shouldering more of the load now, and he looks like he's more than capable of doing that. So I think with that, this team, I think just like last year's team, has a chance to be as good as anyone in the country. I mean, based on what I've seen, and I don't think that will change if they continue to play more games. They're just only going to get more seasoned, playing together and understanding, who has to step up for the team with Wong gone. And I think they're finding that out now, who can do that. And like I said, Poplar tonight was a guy, Pat can step up and make those plays. Joseph is explosive. And then and Cleveland. I mean, there are 4 guys out there right there. I think all are capable of scoring over 20 on any given night. That's a lot of firepower, man. And I think you saw some of that tonight.
Coach, your team continued to make runs throughout the game. You guys kept chipping away, eventually cut it down to 6 towards the end of the game. What can you say about the resiliency of your team and how you guys will be able to build off that moving forward throughout the year?
Well, that's what we have to look at. We have to, take home the fact that, we kept fighting, kept competing. And, I think even when we were down, my guys, always felt, we had a chance. And you want to see that. You have to have that belief in yourself and the team. I think our guys showed that. They were resilient the way they kept playing. That's important to have. It's a long season. You're going to be in games like this. You have to keep on fighting, trying to, compete to try to come back. And I was happy with our guys' effort in that regard. Like I said, we could have started the game off better in the first half. We didn't. And that's something that we have to, work on getting better at. But you give them credit. We didn't start off as well because they didn't allow us to. I thought they did a good job defensively, and they established that early. And we have to grow from this experience and learn.